MrBeast is getting hate for doing something good. In other news, the sky is blue because it seems like this is a repetitive theme. Every time MrBeast does something good that changes people's lives, Twitter users try to just shit all over him and say, oh, this isn't a good deed. This is actually evil. What he's doing is bad. And his latest good deed that people are trying to vilify him for is when he gave out 20,000 pairs of shoes to kids in South Africa. Their first pair of shoes that they have ever had. And people were still trying to spin it and make him look like the bad guy. And one of the comments that was just so brain dead on this Twitter post that Dexerto posted, they said he could have done a bit more. Shoes aren't worth that much. What do you want him to do? Go give out Lamborghinis to these kids in South Africa instead because they're more valuable, therefore they're more useful? Like, what kind of logic is that? Just because they're not valuable? Like, would it have been better if he gave out some Jordan 1 Chicagos or something? Like, just because they're more valuable shoes, they're better? And then the other kinds of arguments you see are people saying, if you want to be generous and give to people, just give to people. Don't create a huge PR stunt around this and use it as like a tax write-off or something like that. And they fail to understand what MrBeast does. He makes these videos to get funding and money so he can therefore pump it straight back into making more of these videos, giving out more and more than he previously did. That's his whole idea. That's the whole shtick. That is what he has been doing since day one on his channels. Making money so he can give away even more money. Even if you don't like MrBeast, you can't say what he's doing is a bad deed. Like, would it have been better if he didn't give them anything? If he would have just watched from the sideline as he stuffed his pockets with money? No. It's better that he's doing something. He wants to help, and he's helping. And the way he can help is by making these videos that make him a lot of money so he can give away a lot of money and a lot of things to people who need them. It's just such an unbelievably backwards way of thinking, saying that, oh, he's giving and helping people, but I don't like him, so it's a bad thing. It's a bad deed now just because I don't like MrBeast. But another example of this, someone said, let me know when y'all catch up and realize how weird this MF is. Replying to the post about him giving away 20,000 pairs of shoes to kids who didn't have shoes in Africa. Literally life-changing things, by the way. If you watch that video, those kids never had a pair of shoes. They have to walk for like miles and miles to get to school through briars and just bad terrain. So shoes are life-changing things for these kids. Much like the eye surgery he did that people got mad at him on Twitter about before, and I talked about that. They're having the same response to this life-changing video. And I don't quite understand it. I fail to wrap my head around how just the absurdly low IQ that some people on Twitter have. The chronically online Twitter users are some of the dumbest people on the planet. I refuse to believe they're even real people. It almost gives me more hope for humanity that these are just like a bunch of chimpanzees just smashing the keyboards and somehow writing dumb sentences like that. And it's got to such a bad point that MrBeast has had to come out on Twitter and explain, break it down like he's talking to toddlers, how his company's Philanthropy and his burger chain works, so these simpletons will potentially understand how wrong they are. In a tweet where MrBeast said, no hate, you probably just haven't seen the channel, but it actually is a charity, and I obviously don't profit from it. 100% of the revenue from Beast Philanthropy goes towards running my food banks and helping, it continues. And then someone replied to that and said, this is all such a scam, lol. No activist would start a fast food chain to bring change. And then he had to break it down for him, read it real slow to him and say, I started Beast Burger during COVID because restaurants were struggling and I wanted to give them a way to earn extra money. Countless restaurants were close to going under, and the extra revenue generated off selling Beast Burgers helped them stay afloat until after lockdown. I've also never made a penny off of it. We just reinvest the revenue into ads to help restaurants make more money. But that's not all. He had to do the same thing when it came to him giving out 20,000 pairs of shoes. This person said, people praising things like this, like good guy MrBeast, ignore the reality that he makes a profit from these types of videos. This isn't really charity. So MrBeast had to reply and once again break it down, speaking at like 2 words per minute so they can, have time to interpret it, make it go through their head, understand each individual syllable to actually realize what he's doing. He says, no hate, you probably just haven't seen this channel, but it actually is a charity, and I obviously don't profit from it. 100% of all revenue from Beast Philanthropy goes towards running my food banks and helping ease human suffering. And since inception, I've personally put in millions into Beast Philanthropy. That's the whole point. Make content around helping people to generate more money to help more people. And if you just take 2 seconds to search up what the word philanthropy means, it's the desire to promote the welfare of others expressed especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. And just in case any of you people from Twitter are watching and those big words are going over your head, I know second grade vocabulary can be hard, but basically philanthropy means, in its simplest terms, you donate generous amounts of money just out of the goodness of your heart with no ulterior motives, just because you want to help. And to go one step further to show how dumb these people on Twitter are, I know Twitter users dumb. Oh, my shit's brown. Most of the time. But if you look at the channel, even in the description of the channel, it says 100% of the profits from my ad revenue, merch sales, and sponsorships will go towards making the world a better place. I'm pretty sure what that says. It doesn't take a detective. You don't have to be Batman or Sherlock Holmes. You're not cracking a case here, figuring out that MrBeast is using these channels to like launder money and make himself more wealthy. The dude just likes to give away money and help people. Is it so hard to believe that there's a good person out there? You just so desperately want him to be a bad person, I guess, so you can fuel your Twitter drama, have something to debate about on Twitter. I guess these people just really have nothing going for them in their life, so they have to try to make someone else seem bad so they can not think they're that bad themselves or something. I don't know, maybe it's a coping mechanism. I'm not too sure what's going on. And then there's also the brain dead argument of people saying, oh, only 20,000 shoes. There's millions of people that need shoes. Why not just give them all shoes? It's just dumb stuff like that. Why didn't he give more than 20,000 shoes is basically what they say. And then it just circles back to that argument, comes full circle. Would you have rather him gave nothing? I think if someone gives one pair of shoes, it's far better than giving nothing. Giving something is better than giving nothing. If you want to help and all you can help with is like a couple pairs of shoes, that's good. You're doing a good service. You're helping. You're actually helping a couple people. MrBeast giving 20,000 shoes, he's helping 20,000 people who would have not had shoes if it weren't for him. And if you just go watch the video of him giving 20,000 shoes to these kids, you can tell how much it means to them. I dang near shed a tear, and I haven't cried since the day the doctor spanked my bottom when I was born. That's the last time I cried. But I felt the tears welling up watching that video and seeing the kids' smiles on their faces when they got their first pair of shoes, and just how world-changing that was for them. I'm getting chills just even talking about it again. It's just such an awesome deed. And the fact that there are people out there that are that dumb gives me such little hope for humanity's future. What do I even say? You can't debate against dumb people with logic and facts. It just doesn't work. It goes in one ear and out the other like a tunnel. They don't grasp the concept. You can't fight stupidity with actual sound logic. It just doesn't work. You just have to have a screaming match with them and hope you can top faster with your thumbs on Twitter. That's the kind of arguments they want to have. That's the only arguments they will have. And they're just so one-track minded that they'll see all the proof and the facts in front of them and, even have MrBeast himself respond to it and say he keeps none of the profits, and they'll still believe he's a terrible person. I just don't get it, man. I don't know. That's enough MrBeast meat rotting, though. I'll keep rotting his meat, though, as long as he keeps doing good stuff, because he deserves it. He's done absolutely nothing but good things, and that just goes to show you how toxic Twitter is. If they can make an angel of a person into a devil and a demon, it's wild. It's crazy out here on Twitter, and that's why I think that we should just nuke Twitter. Just get rid of it. Delete it. The world would be better off for it. We could actually maybe have a perfect utopia, that kind of meme. The world without Twitter. That's what we would actually have without Twitter. But I'm going to leave now. I'll see you.